Hey guys, welcome back. So now here in this session, once again we are going to continue this ASAP methodology or so-called project. So guys, in previous session we have discussed like first two phases, right? That is okay. I'll just do one thing. So we have discussed this project preparation phase, right? And then business blueprint phase, right? Now, so we'll talk about the third phase. So here in business blueprint phase, what we have done, guys, like generally a discussion with the core team member, in the sense client, right? And then after a blueprint is going to be prepared, and based on the blueprint, what will happen, guys? Blueprint means we can say like implementation. Like if you have to implement SAP, if you talk about the configurations, what are we going to configure, right? So first of all, you need to understand the process, client process, like what exactly they are doing. If you talk about the processes, everywhere the same process is there, right? Country-wide, some differences will be there in terms of like tax structure. If you talk about the depreciation calculation methods, right? These are the differences will be there. If you talk about account payable, account receivable, right? So payable will be payable itself, no matter whether it is India, Europe, or whatever it is. Everywhere the same process is there. Receivable will be receivable itself. Everywhere the same procedure is there, right? But if you talk about the, like, let's suppose vendor is going to send you the invoice. Okay, let's suppose Tata Motor is going to procure certain raw material. So vendor is going to send the invoice. So on the invoices, like of course, whatever material got purchased, that price will be quoted, right? In the sense total worth of material. Apart from this, certain taxes also is going to be imposed by vendor. So here in India, it could be GST. If other countries, it could be VAT, right? So, but again, taxes like, so how this is going to be, taxes are, for tax also we are having a separate configurations, guys. So that we'll discuss in detail. Now, so here what is happening? A discussion completed, blueprint is prepared that yes, these are the things which we have to configure and we have to deliver to the client. Now, what next? The next one is realization. Okay, so realization means what, guys? As we say, like as I said, like blueprint is prepared, right? So till now it is documented only, right? We have promised that we are going to deliver this much, right? But have we delivered? No. Now it's time to realize the things which we have documented, right? You have to execute. We have to what to say. So we are going to do the configurations. We have to configure these all processes, whatever you have documented in blueprint, right? So first of all, what is happening? Configuration is going to. So realization phase means, guys, this is the phase which is going to run. Like if you talk about the longer period, it may take 4 months also, 5 months also, almost like 50, 60%. If you talk about the entire ASAP methodology, right? So almost like we can say 60% or 70% of entire whatever the phases are there, 70% of the times are going to be spent here in realization phase itself. This is pretty important, right? If you talk about interview, like once you go for interview, so every questions, most of the questions will be from this realization phase itself, because multiple configurations we have to do. From every configurations, people can derive multiple scenario and scenario based questions they are going to ask, right? Now, so now here realization means like all the configurations we have to do, right? So most this is like it's going to consume time, guys, and for every configurations we need certain input from client, right? So configurations will happen at the same time, in the sense simultaneously. Even discussion also will happen with the client. Okay, in every configurations we need to get certain input from client side. Now, what kind of input we are going to receive? So once I start the configurations, I'll let you know what details we need from client side. Okay, so configurations are going to happen. We have to configure. all the things, account payable, receivable, asset accounting, everything, right? Even in payable, receivable also multiple processes are there, guys. That also we'll discuss one by one in detail. Now, the next one is unit test. What do you mean by a unit test, guys? Can anybody explain what is this unit test? Anyone is having any idea about this unit test? If anyone want to say something.
After configuration, just trying to check if all apps are working fine or something like that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So smart answer. Yes, guys. Of course. I'll tell you now. It's pretty simple. Here I got an answer from Venus. Whatever we have configured, we'll test it. Yes, whatever we have configured, we'll test it. Right. So after configurations, like we have done the configurations, how you will come to know whether it is working fine or not. So for that we have to perform testing, right? But now guys, look at here, we are having two tests. One is called a unit test and second one is called integration test. So is there any differences between those two? Unit and integration?
Sir, unit test is the one which we do individually to each and everything. Mm,
Okay.
and integrated is a whole part. Sir, how to explain? So unit test is like, for example, if I have done any single configuration, like I have created some company, I have created some company code or something. So I'll test each and every stage. That is known as unit test.
Mm-hmm.
And integration. Yeah,
Okay. Don't
that's
worry,
it, sir.
I'll explain. Yeah, I understood what you're trying to explain here. I got an answer here from Raj also. Raj is written unit test is individual test, integration test is cross module test. Yes, this is the perfect answer. Okay, this is the perfect answer. Unit test is individual test, integration test is cross module test. I'll tell you guys now, I'll put a very simple example. See, in like there are multiple, what to say, processes are there, multiple activities are there, right? Say for example, we have to like, if we talk about uh, all this vendor invoices, right? So for vendor invoices, we have to do like, first of all, uh, account payable basic setting is required. Basic setting is required, right? So once we have done this account payable basic setting, then you have to test it, right? Now, all the cash related transactions are going to be posted with the help of cash journal. Okay. So if we have done configurations for this one, we have to test it, right? Now, I'll just do one thing. Keep it here. Account payable basic settings we have done, right? And we have tested it. How? So first of all, we'll post certain invoice, right? And then we'll test whether it is working fine or not. After that, we have to post even a payment also, and we have to test whether it is working fine or not. Okay. In account payable, there is another functionality called APP, Automatic Payment Program. What is this, guys? Automatic Payment Program? Automatic Payment Program is, with the help of that, we can post payment transaction in bulk, multiple vendors. That will see in detail, guys. Several classes I'll be giving on that. So once you have performed the configurations for APP, that also you have to test it, right? Likewise, I said cash setup. Okay, customer invoices, right? So customer invoices, again, AR basic setting. That also you have to test it. First of all, we have to configure and then we have to test it. In account receivable, there is a topic called dunning activity. Okay, dunning means, like, let's suppose we have, like, Tata Motor has sold goods to a particular customer and that customer is not making payment on time. So likewise, there will be multiple customer who has not made payment on time. So once if the payment is not received on time, right, then what will happen, guys? Of course, we have to send a reminder, right? There is an answer from here, the part that is like dunning means reminder. Yes, dunning means reminder itself, sending reminder notices to the customer. So with the help of dunning, we are going to send the reminder to the customer. So how these configurations are going to happen? First of all, right, we have to do the configurations. After that, we have to test it whether it is working fine or not, right? So how you will test it, guys? If we test it, then system should select only overdue invoices. Overdue invoices means the invoice which has already crossed the due date. Okay, we'll discuss in detail once I cover this turning topic and all. So this one also you have to test it, right? So likewise, look at here. Apart from this, we are having like validation. This is also a topic, guys. Okay. Let's suppose if you have done these configurations, you have to test it. Likewise, we are having substitutions, multiple topics. So look at here, guys. One by one, we have performed these configurations. One by one, we have performed these configurations, right? And one by one, we have performed the testing as well, right? This is called unit by unit configurations and unit by unit. Like this is the first one, right? Likewise, second, third, fourth, number wise, right? So you can say like this is one unit, this is another unit of step, this is another unit of activity, right? So unit by unit, we are doing configurations, and unit by unit, we are performing testing as well, right? This is called unit test. Unit test. Okay. Now, so if you talk about unit test, guys, we don't have any dependencies on any other module. Apart from this, FICO means stand for finance and controlling, right? Apart from this, we are having SD module, we are having module, we are having PP module, we are having PS module. So you have nothing to do with other modules, right? There is no dependency at all. Whether they have done their configurations or not, we have nothing to do with those people. They are doing their own configurations, let them do. But let's suppose if you have to test this one, this one, this one, whatever, right? So if let's suppose dependencies means what, guys? Dependencies means, let's suppose if any particular process is having any association with other module, right? Then we can say that we are having dependencies, because let's suppose if any association is there with module. So now what is happening? Half of the configurations you have to is going to be done by you people. Half of the configurations are falling under module, right? So now let's suppose if you have completed your half and module is not, consultant has not completed his part, then what will happen, guys? Testing is not possible. So we are having dependencies on those people until unless they are going to perform their configurations, until unless they are going to complete their configurations and all, we cannot proceed further, right? So that is called dependency. Here in these all activity, we don't have any dependencies. It means in unit test, you don't have any dependencies on any other module, right? Independently, we can do all the configurations and we can perform testing, right? Even if other people, consultants are running behind the schedules and all, we have nothing to do with those people. There is no any kind of impact on your configurations. Okay, so this is what called unit test. It means unit by unit configurations, unit by unit testing, right? One by one, all process wise testing is going to be done, right? And in unit test, we don't have any dependencies on other module. Now we'll talk about integration test. Okay, so there is a process called P2P. What is this P2P, guys? Okay, P2P. P2P stand for procure to pay. Okay, now there is answer from Fahad. Okay, yeah, that's correct. So P2P stand for procure to pay. So procure to pay is what, guys? Of course, a procurement process. right? Now, if you have, as an individual, if you are going to purchase something, let's suppose you have to purchase a particular thing or any stuff, simply we visit the market, we are going to visit 4 or 5 shops, right? And then we'll decide one, right? Let's suppose if you have to purchase one particular laptop, we are going to visit 4 or 5 shops, we are going to collect certain quotations from those people. Quotations in the sense, small pamphlets will be given by those people where all the details about the laptop, accessories, if they are going to give any extra accessories, that will be also specified, the price will be quoted over there. If they are going to give any additional what is a warranty, that is also, is going to be quoted over there, right? And if any other what is a facility, like nowadays for laptop also they are providing some insurance or something, so these all things will be specified on that pamphlet, that is called quotations, right? So we'll collect 4 or 5 quotations by visiting 4 or 5 shops, and then we are going to compare, and whichever you feel that the best deal is there, that will be, then you visit, finally you are going to visit that particular store, and from there we are going to buy the laptop. Now, the same, if the same, like let's suppose if the Tata Motor has to buy, then what is happening for their employee? It means like they are buying in bulk, right? So directly they are going to deal with the company itself. Dell is there, Panasonic is, sorry, this Sony laptop is there, right? We are having like HP is there, HCL is there, right? So now in that case, what is happening, guys? They are going to multiple in P2P, like if you talk about the steps, guys, several steps are there, right? But we'll not go in those details. There will be a separate session on this one, on P2P, right? P2P in the sense, like there is a topic called FIMM integration, right? So once I start FIMM integrations, we are going to discuss in detail along with the configurations, testing, multiple scenarios will be there, guys. Even certain unique scenarios also will be there. We'll discuss those things. Now here, so in P2P, let's suppose, so if Tata Motor has to procure any goods or services, whatever it is, any product, let's suppose, first of all, a purchase order is going to be, PO is going to be raised by Tata Motor, right? And this PO is going to be sent to the vendor. This PO, purchase order, is going to be treated as a legal, what is it, this one, guys, a document. Let's suppose Tata Motor has raised a purchase order, and based on that, what is happening, guys? Vendor is going to deliver the goods, and vendor is going to send the invoices also. So generally, what is happening in SAP, we are having goods are going to be posted separately, and invoice is going to be posted separately in the form of goods receipt and invoice receipt. Why? Because goods are going to be sent somewhere. If you talk about raw material, guys, right? If you talk about raw material, then raw materials are going to be sent somewhere to a store department, right? And invoice is going to be sent somewhere to the corporate office, right? And there will be time lag also. So goods receipt and invoice receipt is going to be posted separately. Now again, in details, as I said, we'll discuss later, right? So goods receipt and then invoice receipt, and then finally what is happening? Payment is going to be made to the vendor. So payment also will be posted. So look at here, one process P2P. How many activity? PO, then goods receipt, invoice receipt, and then payment. Even P2P, if you talk about, like, if we discuss at broader level, then before purchase order also certain activities are there, right? Before purchase order also certain activities are there, like first of all, purchase requisition is going to be set up. Purchase requisition means store department, or like purchase requisition means it's a kind of internal document, guys, that is going to be created, right? It's a kind of by creating the purchase requisition, what is happening, guys? They are going to raise the requirement that we have a need of so and so material. So requisition will be created. After that, it is going to be approved by a particular authority, maybe senior manager, whoever is there. Then after, what is happening, guys? Once the requisition is created, once the requisition is approved, then the next step will be they are going to invite quotations from vendor for the same materials. Like they are going to invite quotations from different vendors, so that everybody are going to quote their prices, that per unit or per ton, whatever, like there'll be unit of measure for that particular material, right? So let's suppose they're saying that we are going to charge so and so amount per ton, right? So whichever base deal is there is going to be finalized, and then finally purchase order is going to be raised against that particular vendor, right? So let's suppose if the vendor is known, if already it is decided that from this vendor itself we have to procure this material, then directly purchase order itself is going to be raised, right? So PO is going to be raised, then goods receipt, invoice receipt, and payment. So this is called P2P process, right? But if you talk about, like, so if you have to test, like if we have to test this P2P process, right? So first of all, what is happening, guys? Before testing, configurations need to be done. So this PO and GR related configurations will be coming from M side. Okay, these two, let's suppose for these two, the configurations are coming from side, and from invoice onwards, it is from FI side. So look at here, guys. There is involvement of two different modules, and here we are having dependencies, right? What is the dependencies, guys? If we have to test this P2P scenario, P2P process, right? So first of all, what is happening? That is going to be started from creation of purchase order itself. So if the purchase order itself is not created, then how we are going to? Then what about like goods receipt? Goods receipts are going to be posted with reference to purchase order. Invoice receipt is also going to be posted with reference to purchase order, right? And payment, of course, is going to be made. Once the invoice is posted, then only against that particular invoice itself the payment will be posted, right? So if the PO itself is not created, then what about these three? Nothing is going to happen, guys. So we are having totally dependencies on consultant. If they have not done some certain settings from their side, because from side also certain basic settings are required, guys, in order to create purchase order. Multiple configurations are there, but that is their part, right? But they must have to do, they must have to complete their configurations. Let's suppose you have done with whatever the required configurations are there, and people has not done, then the testing will be, it will be pending only, because PO cannot be created, right? And if that cannot be created, then these three process will not be. Now, so P2P is a classic example of integration test. Look at here. Now here, this is called cross module test. Cross module means we are having dependencies on module, right? So here always there is an involvement of two module, right? So there is integration of integrations, or you can say interlink FI and right? So this P2P is the classic example of integration test. Two modules are integrated with each other, right? You can say linked with each other, and one particular process is made, that is called P2P. So this is the classic example of integration test. Even we have O2C, order to cash also, but again that is going to be discussed in detail. It is like in purchase P2P is going to be followed, right? In sales O2C is going to be followed, right? Now, so this is the classic example of integration test. Integration test means what is happening, guys? Of course, there is an integration of two different modules here, FI and and in this case, we are having dependencies on other module. Not only we, even people are also having, they are having dependencies on us. So they have to complete their part, and we have to complete our part, and then we'll sit together and we are going to perform testing. Consultant will create purchase order with reference to purchase order. He or she is going to post this goods receipt, and then after, with the reference of same purchase order, we are going to post the invoice, and then finally we'll post the payment. And if it is executed successfully, then we can say that P2P testing is completed, right? So this is the example of integration test. Integration test. So what we have done, guys, so here generally what is happening here, I'll come back. So in realization phase, what is happening? Configuration and testing. Testing, unit test, and integration test. Right? Okay. Unit test, you can say testing for individual process in a single module, right? And here, integration test means it is a cross module testing, right? Now, so we have done the configurations, we have performed the testing. If everything is fine, then what is happening, guys? Then we are going to proceed further. But here, guys, in these all configurations and testing, of course, it is going to take time behind every configurations, because several configurations are there, and in every configurations we need several input from client, isn't it? If you talk about the input, it doesn't mean that within 5 minutes clients are going to give the inputs and all. They are also going to have a discussion in their, like, internally they are going to discuss among the team, and then they'll decide, and then they are going to inform us. So sometime, like, we are expecting data in 24 hours, but it may take 4 days also, 5 days also, isn't it? So a smart consultant means they will, like, doing multiple configurations simultaneously, so that, like, once I get input from for this cache general, then I'm going to complete those configurations, will perform the testing. Okay. So anyway, once we proceed further, you guys will be having this whole idea. What is this configurations, unit test, integration test? Okay, that we'll see practically. Now, so once the configuration and testing is done, then we have moved to the fourth phase, that is called final preparation phase. So final preparation phase means what, guys? Now everything is ready, and just you need to give a final touch, right? Building construction is ready, the construction is completed, and final touch means what? You have to do all this painting, and everything is paints, and then, like, uh, decorations, we can say, right, is required. Now, so in final preparations, there are certain activity which is pretty important. The first one is user acceptance test. Okay, I think the name itself is telling. What do you mean by user acceptance test, guys? Tell me.
End user will do this testing whether it's working fine, and is it as per their requirement or something like that.
Okay.
Going to test, you will check the everything is working fine. If user means consultant or any end user like that.
Okay. Yeah. Now, so till now, whatever testing we have done, right, that is done by you people only. Whatever, just give me a second. Okay. So till now, whatever testing is done, that is configuration is done by you. Testing is also done by you people only, right? And if you say that now everything is working fine, then client will not be agreed until they are also they will also test from their end, right? So that is called user acceptance test. User means the employee of Tata Motor, employee of client, right? So now user acceptance test means once the testing is, like, if they are satisfied with the testing and all, they must have to give their acceptance that yes, now this is fine. Either uh, so generally what happened, for every testing, a test document is going to be prepared. Okay. In next session, I'll what to say explain, guys, because certain documents are there which is pretty important, and you need to have perfect understanding about those things, right? I've seen, like, uh, for these things only, I've seen, like, multiple people have created a separate training that is called project training and all, and these things they are going to cover in those project training. They are charging separately. Okay, so don't worry. Uh, I'll explain what kind of documents are going to be prepared by few people. So that I'll let you know. Okay, and I'll show you also certain documents. So now, if you talk about unit test, integration test, for every test, you have to prepare a document also, right? That is the standard procedure. Once the project is completed, guys, then internal audit will take place. Of course, from client side also certain auditor will be there, because if you talk about Tata Motor, they don't know, they are not the expert of SAP. So how they will come to know that whatever like we have delivered is really as per our promises, right? So they are going to invite again a different company entry will be there, and most likely in that Deloitte will be there, guys. ENY is there. Then we are having PwC is there, right? So these are the 3-4 companies, which is like they're also having a huge number of consultant in their team, and these people conduct the audits, right? They will check like whatever promises we have made, whether we have delivered as per our promises or not. Promises in the sense they'll refer the blueprint documents and then they will check, right? So the audit will be there, right? So even like forget about the client audit, they will check all the configurations and all. But if you talk about internal audit, right? So even that company also, your own company also is going to send certain audited, and these people will check whether we have followed all the standard process or not, procedure or not, right? So standard procedure says whatever activities are going to be performed, it must be documented, whether it is configurations or testing. So unit test, you have to prepare a document. Integration test, you have to prepare a document. Likewise, user acceptance test, UAT, at that point of time, also a document need to be prepared, right? So during UAT, generally, uh, whatever UT and IT we have performed, right? In UT, unit test, you have performed the testing, right? IT, we have performed the testing. Those documents will be there. The same activities are going to be tested by the users also, right? So simply the same documents are going to be forwarded, because if you talk about like in a particular project, right? So most likely if 8 working hours are there, so out of 8 hours, like at least 4-5 hours you guys are going to spend with the core team member itself, and 98% chances are there that the consultant will have a very good rapport with the core team member. They become like a very close friends and all. So in that case, generally what happen, guys, as per rule, like a document uh, during UAT, the user is going to prepare their documents, right? So simply we forward these documents. They will simply change the screenshots and all, and certain other things. They are going to change the name and everything, and they will prepare their own document, right? So during UAT, once they have performed this successful testing, then they must have to give their sign off, right? Sign off in the sense either they'll give their acceptance through email, or else whatever testing document has been prepared, we'll take a printout of that, and they will put their signature over there that yes, now this is working fine. So this user acceptance test is there. That is going to be treated as a green signal of your go live, right? Here generally what happened, guys, this is a very critical test, we can say, because generally what happened, everybody is a professional. Users are testing on their behalf, right? So of course they'll be having some small requirements. My expectation was there should be some this field supposed to appear, that field supposed to appear, right? Multiple such kind of requirements will be explained by, if not core team member, CTM is going to perform the testing. But when the CTM is going to perform the testing, then he is going to invite, like let's suppose account payable related testing is happening. CTM in the sense core team member will perform the testing, but from account payable he is going to invite 1 or 2 person. So those people will give feedback. I want report in this way. I want report in that way. While posting the invoice, one additional field was supposed to be here, right? Because they will compare with their whatever the existing ERP is there with the legacy system, right? So a smart consultant will always like, okay, then we'll see that, okay, if you, because standard means whatever, like let's suppose, generally I'll tell you guys, uh, in real time, once you become a consultant, so client will never satisfied. right? Even if you give your entire blood also, they'll expect more and more, right? So that is why over and above, like a project manager will be there from their side, right? A project manager will be there from our side, isn't it? To settle such kind of disputes. Okay. So anyway, so user acceptance test means client will perform testing if they're going to demand anything, and for that, if any development is required, immediately the project manager, your project manager will say that it's required a development because this is not the part of standard process. In that case, we have to bring some extra resources that is going to cost you extra. The moment extra cost involved, immediately they'll get back from there, because from their side also a project manager will be there, right? So everybody, they don't want to spend the extra money and all, right? So lots of things happen, guys, during user acceptance test, right? But finally, this is the green signal of your go live. Okay, so user will test, they'll prepare a document, they'll put their signature, all this, they'll confirm on the through email also that yes, now this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. For every processes, we are going to get their acceptance. Okay, so this is what is happening in user acceptance test. And then finally we are having cut over activity. What is this cut over activity, guys? Can anybody explain what is this cut over activity? Anyone is having any idea? Cut over activity. Okay, so there is an answer from Raj. Data migration. What is this data migration?
Converting of their older ERP to the new ERP, all the data from older ERP to new ERP.
Okay, yes. So now here data migration means there is an answer from Momita also. Automation of the process. No, automation is different thing actually, right? Automation is a different thing. Okay. Okay. So now that is automation. It's not the data migration. Data migration means generally, I think in the previous session I told you guys, like we are having legacy system. Legacy system means the ERP which is being used, right? And then SAP system is going to be implemented. So generally what happened, guys, now there are multiple reports required where we need to have some previous data, right? So in that case, what will happen? Client will say, of course, the previous data are required. So whatever the previous data are there, that is there in the legacy system, right? So that must be migrated from here to here. So that is called data migration, right? So whatever this data migration activity is there, that is called cut over activity. Here people confuse, and I'm able to remember earlier, like long back when I was giving interview, this question was there. What do you mean by cutover activity? So cutover activity is nothing but data migration activity where the data will be migrated from legacy system to SAP system. That's it. Very simple answer. How it is going to happen? Again, we'll see practically. Don't worry. Okay. So now here, this is called cutover activity, right? Now in cutover activity, guys, there'll be when the cutover activity, in the sense data migration, when it is going to be started. So generally it is going to be started, like let's suppose if the go live date is a particular date is announced. Okay, let's suppose 1st of August. Okay, so just few days back, might be 3-4 days back, this cutover activity will be started. Okay, for 3 days, 2 days, not 2 days, generally 3-4 days anyway it is going to take, guys. So 3-4 days back, these cutover activities are going to be started. Okay, so for this cutover activity, in the sense data migration activity, generally a date will be announced. Earlier itself, a date will be announced. So that from this date onwards, the data migration activity will be started, right? So that is called cut over date, right? If somebody asks, what do you mean by cut over date? So cut over date means what? The date on which onwards the data migration is going to be started. Pretty simple, guys, to understand. Okay. Cut over activity means data migration activity where the data will be migrated from legacy system to SAP system, not Tally, not Oracle. Legacy could be anything, QuickBook, Tally, Oracle, or any customized ERP, right? So this is called cutover activity. And cutover date means it's a particular date from where the cutover activity is going to be started. It means the data migration is going to be started, right? Okay. There is one more thing, guys. Cutover date. Let's suppose a cutover date is announced like, say for example, July. Let's suppose cutover date is 26 or 27 July. Okay, this is your cutover date. So 27th onwards, what will happen, guys? This legacy system is going to be stopped. Okay, people will not perform any posting in legacy system. That is the standard process. Why? Because if people will keep on posting transaction in legacy system, then what will happen, guys? That in data migrations, because let's suppose I have transferred here 1 million worth of transaction from here to SAP. So here also, after data migrations, we are going to tally this amount is matching with this amount. If the transaction posting is started, it is not stopped, then what will happen, guys? Here the number of total transactions, whatever is posted, is more compared to SAP system, right? So again, migration means now, so whatever like transaction got posted after this data migration, so it's very difficult to tally, right? So now generally on this during what you say this cutover date, after cutover date, the transactions will not be posted in this legacy system, right? And now and those data are going to be migrated here later on. So these data are going to be migrated into SAP, right? And later on, whatever these pending 2-3 days transactions are there, that also must be recorded somewhere. So if they are going to record in legacy system, then once again for those 3 days also data are supposed to be migrated separately and uploaded into SAP. But generally what people prefer, guys, those data are going to be posted into SAP itself in backdate. Backdate posting is allowed, guys, right? We'll have to open the previous period and the posting will be there. Okay, so this is how it is going to happen. So anyway, cutover activity and cutover date. Cutover activity, data migration activity. Cutover date means the date from which data migration is going to be started. So this is going to happen. Then end user training. End user means the users of like employee of Tata Motor. So of course now they are very much familiar with the legacy system only. They don't know anything about SAP system, right? So we have to provide what to say training also to those people. Okay, providing training, guys. Providing training doesn't mean that we are going to train the entire team itself, right? That entire team is not going to be trained. Of course, like 4 team member will be there, and apart from this, we'll say that you invite 4 or 5 member from, because entire team, guys, it is horrible. Once you start, like even in 1 year also, it is not going to be completed, right? Because the people they'll keep on asking some questions and multiple questions will be there. It is countless questions will be there, right? So always we invite only 4 team member and some 4 or 5 people along with him. That's it. Only those people are now. Okay. So end user training means providing training to the users. Okay. Now the next one is preparation of training manual. So training manual, of course, like whatever training you have given for that standard operating like SOP is there, right? So that SOP you need to prepare and that you have to hand over. So it's like training manual. If you talk about training manual, it's not like we are going to prepare from scratch. already standard templates will be there, guys. Simply you need to copy, and then we are going to replace, just screenshots will be replaced simply, and the same document is going to be forwarded to the users. That's it. So preparation of training manual and then configuration document. Whatever configurations we have done, guys, that configurations also, for that you have to prepare a document. That configurations must be documented. And generally, this is the asset of client, right? This is the asset of client. Once the implementation is done, whatever document we have prepared for Tata Motor, guys, these all documents supposed to be handed over to the Tata Motor only, because that is their assets. We have done this implementation for those people, right? And they have paid for that. Okay. So whichever documents are prepared, these all documents are supposed to be handed over to the client only, because that is totally saying that this is yours, you take it. Right? So configuration document also supposed to be prepared. Later on, generally what happened, say for example, Wipro Technology is doing this configurations, in the sense implementations. And then we are providing a support for small period. Okay. That is called hypercare. Hypercare means sometimes what happened, guys, I have seen like earlier, there was a question that okay, like there was a question from interviewer that okay, you are showing that you have done one implementation. So after implementations, was it like, what about the support? Was it a support, or you just give a hypercare was there, right? So people were not able to understand like what is this hypercare. Hypercare is nothing but a support itself for a smaller period, less than a quarter, we can say. Okay, but 2 months, 3 months, free supports will be there. That is called hypercare. Okay, so generally in general language we call it as a support itself. But sometimes if somebody is going to ask like hypercare, right? So you must be knowing like what is this hypercare, right? Support for a smaller period. That's it. Okay. So if we have given a support for 2 months only or 3 months only, and after that again, so there'll be further discussions with the client, and for support also we are going to charge. Now for support, Wipro Technology had charged more amount. At the same time, other player came into picture and they have charged the less amount. So project went to, let's suppose, IBM. So then what will happen, guys? Implementation has been done by Wipro Technology. So you people know very well about their processes, right? You people have done the configurations, you know each and everything. But IBM people, they have not done this implementations. They are not having any awareness about the configurations or business process or anything. So what will happen? They are going to refer these documents, whatever blueprint we have prepared, that we have handed over to the client. All this training manual we have handed over to the client. All the configuration documents we have handed over to the client, right? If any development is done, so for that development, multiple functional specification documents are going to be prepared. That is also going to be handed over to the client. What is its functional specification document, guys? I'll let you know, don't worry. I'll explain in detail in next session. So these all documents are going to be handed over to the client. So later, if the client is going to switch to a different organization for the support, then these all documents are going to help those people to understand the business process of a client and what exactly we have done, what exactly we have configured. These all things they are going to read out the documents, and then they will be having overall the ideas about these all configurations and all, right? So that is the major benefit. So this is why before starting of the project, these all things are, if you talk about like what to say, initially when the team, in the sense like delivery manager along with center of excellence team, once they visited at client location, right? So at that point of time there will be a particular agreement, right? So in those agreement itself, these all things will be included, that whatever documents are there, that is our assets, you must have to hand over after this completion of this project. Okay, so once this configuration document and these all things are prepared, that is supposed to be handed over to the client. That's it. And once it is done, final preparation is completed, and then the next one is called go live. Go live is nothing but, look at here, system is ready to record the live transaction. So from that particular date onwards, 1st of August onwards, what is happening, guys? Whatever the legacy system is there, that become past, it's history. And 1st of August onwards, they are going to use SAP. And so go live is done, and on that particular day itself, the implementation project is ended. From that particular day onwards, what is happening, guys? Support is going to be started. Now we have entered in a different, what is say, this one project that is called support project. Okay, so support project means generally what happened, guys, whichever client has done the implementation, most likely 99% chances are there that those what is a company, in the sense company itself, is going to get the support also. For client also it is quite easy. Why? Because they are very much familiar with these all consultants. For last 8 months, 9 months, these people are interacting with the client, so there is a personal acquaintance also, guys, between the consultant and client. They are very much comfortable, and the consultants also, they know very well about the client, what is a business structure, business process, and what exactly they have done, what configurations they have done, right? So in case if any issues are appearing, for these people it's very easy to understand, and then they're going to resolve immediately. Apart from this, if client is going to give certain requirement related to further development, like let's suppose any particular report supposed to be developed, so it will be quite easy because a mutual understanding also will be there, right? So generally what happened, whenever, like, if any particular company has completed the implementations, that company itself is going to get the support at least for minimum 3-4 years, guys. Because if you talk about the contract, 4-year contract generally is going to be signed. Okay, so the support is also going to be given to the same client. Now, so in support, generally what is happening, guys, whatever the team of like consultants are there, right? So first of all, for supports, it is going to be asked by like those people itself. First of all, like if anybody want to be part of the support and all, right? So those people are going to be part of the support team. And giving support doesn't mean, guys, that they must have to there at client location. Support means can be given from anywhere, right? Sitting at, like, let's suppose a particular location. Say for example, sitting in Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, anywhere, right? The central, like, let's suppose a particular team is there sitting at particular location, right, and giving support to the client. How? So I'll tell you now. Let's suppose you guys are from various part, not only India, even out of India also, right? Now, in a single server itself, you all are going to get your access. Like if you talk about your user IDs are going to be set up in a particular SAP server, right? So somebody is from Bangalore, somebody is from Mumbai, somebody is from Hyderabad, from Delhi, somebody is from Spain, somebody is from, let's suppose, Mexico. You all are going to access the same server, right? Now, I have quoted example of Tata Motor. Their corporate office is in New Delhi. It means there all the users are sitting in New Delhi, and support team is sitting somewhere in Bangalore, right? So if any error is there, those people are going to, like, user is going to take the screenshot, right? And that is going to be sent to the consultant. Okay, the common email ID will be there. They are going to send this. So what is happening? Even you guys also will be having access of that particular server. So you are also going to log in and you can check. Okay, these are the errors which is appearing. You'll try to find out the root cause. You have to rectify. In that, certain procedure is there that they have to follow, right? So that is a practical part, right? So here we are discussing about this ASAP methodology, right? We'll not go in those details. So generally, these are the 5 phases, guys. In go live, generally it is a particular day itself. On that, like, system is going to be live, and after that onwards, system is ready to record the live transactions. All the parties and everything will be happening, right? And after that, support phase is going to be started. So these are the 5 phases, guys. These are the activities happening in different phases, right? So this is all about ASAP methodology, or so-called project phases. So that's all in this session, guys.